What is up, Mav fans and hoop heads? Hope your vibes are immaculate today. I'm AG, your host, owner, CEO, director, manager, all that. Welcome on into another episode of Mavs Rundown. I appreciate you for listening. And man, today you join us after Game 5, whenever you're listening. Game 5 just happened. And the Suns take down the Mavs 110-80 in that pivotal Game 5. And, last series I said, winner Game 5, goes on to win, I think, like 82% of the time or something like that. So, not a good showing. However, there's some bright sides that I will get to, and there's a silver lining to this, essentially. But, so basically for, all you Mavs fans, to sum it up for you before I even get into any of, my notes I got, which I'm not even going to run through a lot of the notes. But it was a second half shit show. That's basically put it. The second half shit show, man. Things just were turned so upside down in the second half. And it wasn't like they just got hot and they kind of did. To be honest, they were just, to be honest, they were killing us from the inside, and that opened up the outside to start just, hitting threes from there. And, Devin Booker hitting a lot of threes. How many threes he hit tonight? He only hit three threes. It seemed like more, but, yeah, man, open up the floor. With this Mavs team, honestly, we know it starts with the defense, and that's where it was. We did not come out physical. We did not come out aggressive. It was flat. It was not. I'll give credit. The first half, Mavs were in the game. They were only down. Let me see. I have the stats right. We were only down 3 at halftime, 49-46. And then the second half, just complete terror, just bad. Hey, let me start with the first half. Mavs started hot. The first quarter, Luka and, kind of led the way for the Mavs. And he had 11 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists in the first. And Booker was doing everything he could just to keep the Suns in the game. He had 12 points. And Bridges was the only one, the next highest with he had a pair of threes that helped them. But they were just trying to do everything they can just to keep them in it. And, the Mavs were looking good. And in the second quarter, things kind of got a little wobbly and shaky. Because, JB at first, you start the quarter, JB had a nice little dance on crowd. They hit him with a little in and out, by the mid-range area. Hit it, patented little midi shot that was nasty on Jay Crowder, so that was good. And then, honestly, after that, it was like literally the Suns just like flipped the switch and started, driving and kicking, kind of like the Mavs. And they caught up and ended up overtaking us and obviously taking the lead going into the halftime. And it's like the Mavs just lost ourselves on offense, and there was not enough ball movement. Like the first quarter, it was really bad. However, in the second, the bright spot that did come in was Bertans came in and hit a couple threes. That was pretty big. He had a 3, and then he got an and 1 3 when he got fouled. So that was big for us. That was our big bench points for the quarter. But other than that, Luka had 7, JB had 5, which that's going to be an ongoing theme. This game, Luka and Brunson pretty much did all they could, and it was nobody else came to the party. It was Luka, JB showed up, and nobody else was there for the Mavs, and it was no bueno tonight. And as I said, even the first half, no campaign. I don't even know if he played. He might have played some dead minutes, at the end. But basically, in the regular rotations of this game, they took campaign out because he's been struggling. So they basically took him out and just, kept it all big. And basically their only other guard coming off the bench, they just made it Cam Johnson, Biyombo, Jamal McGee. He came in, but he didn't do so hot. But they have another center in Biyombo that comes in and does really well, and he did well for them. And then Shamet was the other guard. Instead of just playing campaign all the time, they gave all those minutes to Shamet and came in, and he did all right. He did well for them. I think role players step up at home, and he was one of those that benefited from that. Same with Biyombo and a lot of their team, I guess, technically with how they won. But really just the Mavs just didn't show up. It was the first half. We were in the fight. It was a 3-point game, honestly, at halftime. And it was, what more can you ask for? We're playing the Suns, not really playing well. Our second quarter things start falling apart for us, but we're still in the game. A 3-point game, that's nothing really for these Mavs who have the Suns and the Mavs have averaged the most double digit comebacks. Or have the most double-digit comebacks in the whole league this year. But so 3-point is really nothing to us. So it was there, and it was more Luka ball too. As my boy Christian Torres too texted me out and texted me at the end of that quarter, and it was true, man. It was like I said that we lost ourselves on offense, and we went straight to more just Luka ISO, and wasn't really giving it up. We did give it a JB. It was like a JB ISO, and there wasn't enough movement going on in the background to make these things work to their best ability. Instead, it looked like a James Harden ISO where literally everybody just stand there and guys would go one-on-one do it. Instead, what we were doing games that worked before is there would still be some off-ball movement going, off-ball screens, off-ball just shit like that to really get the defense kind of off a little bit and make people pay for not really paying attention. And getting them off guard and catching them on these moves, and moving even when the guy does go one-on-one and cuts to the basket, there needs to be other guys cutting or moving around, and just not a lot of that, and a lot of sloppy ball movement. Which honestly, I'm not even gonna get into the second half tonight. Third quarter, they completely just killed us. It was a shit show. Like it was all Luka JB, and they just went on a run, and it was a 33-14 quarter. Like, yeah, they just basically ran us out the gym in the third. And Suns go up 18 at one point. We used a challenge early. I think it was still somewhat close, and we used a challenge, and I was like, what are we doing? Like, that's when I knew, like, oh, okay, we're using a challenge that's it's still early, and it was in the third quarter that we're using a challenge on Jalen Brunson's drive that I guess could have went whether it could have gone either way, whether he was right or not, I just don't think that's the time. I think you got to save your challenges all for the fourth. Now, if you used it early in the fourth, what I'm saying, that's a little kind of a argumentative, opinionated kind of thing. But I think to use it any earlier than the fourth quarter is just asinine, just crazy. Just by a coach, especially in the playoffs. So I didn't like the challenge there, although I think he was just trying to find anything to gain momentum because, honestly, we were just losing losing grip of everything. We couldn't, do anything. So, I'm sure Kid that was more so just trying to get some momentum back on our side, and it was unsuccessful. And, we didn't score for like a 4-minute span, maybe more. We just looked so sloppy, man. Like, passes were bad, getting just tipped, making them look like, oh, they're just really, in the passing lanes tonight. Just doing this. Like, no, honestly, we just looked lackadaisical. We just looked like we didn't show up for Game 5, man. And it really sucked to see as a Mavs fan because it looked like we didn't really show up in the second half. And, they did. They were ready. They were like, all right, we got to play, ball out for us to win. And I feel like the Mavs just showed up, man. It's a repeat of Game 1, Game 2 again. The effort just was not there. So, but yeah, and then the Suns go up 18 after a Dodo flagrant, quote-unquote flagrant, after he kind of nudges Devin Booker to the ground, which I don't think should be a flagrant call. It was just, a hard foul. The flagrant would be if he would have tried to chop at his neck or something like that. Kind of like, I think the one Davis where Jay Crowder hit him across the thing, that was more of a flagrant than what Dodo did. I didn't like that call at all. But yeah, Mavs had 11 turnovers in the quarter, so that should give you, the third quarter is just horrible. This was a horrible second half game for the Mavs. Honestly, the first half was just, kind of up and down, I guess you could say, but the second half was just completely horrible. 11 turnovers in the quarter, in the quarter, not the half or the game. No, 11 turnovers in the third quarter compared to only 4 turnovers in the first half. It was just bad. And again, guys just did not look aggressive. Like Game 3 and 4, everybody's so aggressive attacking, and then it's like everybody kind of went back into their shell tonight. It was so crazy to see. Yeah, and Luka and JB and Jalen Brunson were the only ones to score in that third quarter too, by the way. So that should give you more insight on how nobody else showed up. And then, honestly, the only note I wrote for the fourth, because I said I wasn't going to go over it, but this is what I wrote down. I just want to say this. Jalen Brunson missed those 2 free throws at the beginning of the quarter, and I was like, all right, I'm done. Like, this is it. Like, game 6. Like, we just got to scrap it and get ready. And pretty much that's what it was. That's what the game was. That's just the type of game it was going. And, I mean, shit, you got to give credit to the Phoenix Suns. They came out. They came ready to play. You know, that's what an experienced team does, that knows these situations and moments and the weight they carry. You know, these game 5s. The first round you might know, you got to take care of business. And the second round you got to, keep that same mindset. Like, hey man, this is, you got another rope. You're on the ropes. This is kind of a big crucial, game. But, Mavs just didn't come out and take advantage of that, carrying the momentum over from games 3 and 4. So now, the home team wins again, and now we'll be headed back to Dallas on Thursday. So hopefully the Mavs just scrap this one up, throw it away. They just kind of go back to just being physical and aggressive. That's really all they got to do. To beat this Suns team, we just have to be physical and aggressive. And that means on both ends. That's just not on defense, not just on offense. That's on both ends. We have to be physical and aggressive. And I'm aggressive on defensive end, as in gang rebound. Everybody going towards the ball, knowing their rotations, sharp, on cue, on point with their rotations, where they're supposed to be. Because they were kind of getting picked apart tonight, especially with the centers, which we've been doing a good job, which is so crazy. It's just to see us kind of flip things in 3 and 4, and then game 5 just revert back to 1 and 2, which is, I guess that kind of happened in the Clippers series. That I don't, I'm just thinking that off the top. But anyway, yeah, man, just a tough one for the Mavs. It's it's one of those where you look at the game and you're just like, all right, this was cool first half, and then the second half, it just has you so disappointed, and you just see this team, it's just not ready yet. This isn't on the outside looking in, no, this is not a championship level team. On the inside, a lot of us believe that, hey, man, we could honestly go on a run here and spark things up, and, things could happen a certain way, and, whatever. But honestly, on the outside, a realistic view of this team, it's not ready. And we just got outplayed tonight by a better team. Especially only in the second half, really. The first half, honestly, it was a toss-up. But we got outplayed tonight in the second half by a better team. And, now we just got to, brush it off and go prepare and get ready for Game 6, which is big on Thursday, which I have, I thought I had written down. Thursday, it's at 8:30. I was right. It was an 8:30 start time, and I think it's on ESPN. Yep, on ESPN. So y'all be ready for that. It's at Dallas, so it'll be a big game, man. I think, honestly, Dallas, this game messes up my pick because I had Mavs in 6, so, but, I can always, change that because Mavs, I did say, honestly, it'll probably go 6 or 7 games, and I just went ahead and picked Mavs 6, but, 7, I'm cool with Mavs winning 7 because I honestly believe we can force a game 7, and then in a game 7, honestly, that's a toss-up right there. If we get to a game 7, I'll be happy. I just want to, to give us that chance to have that moment to, advance. That I just think that would be awesome and great for this team. Even though we've already done so great, technically for this year, above and beyond our goals now with the way we're doing now in the second round, or at least, how things have gone. The Mavs have actually, done better than what people thought. So kudos to the Mavs. And honestly, I feel like if we come out, shake this loss off, and then come back and basically do the same shit we just did in 3-4, like we were just there doing it, games 3 and 4, I think we can come back and do something like that in game 6 and kind of just, make this. It's going to be a tough one, but I definitely can see the Mavs pulling this out and being like, man, you know what? We did not come ready to play. We have to come aggressive and fight like, our backs are against the wall. And I think that Mavs will do that this Thursday. And I think they will, I believe they will force a Game 7, which would be on Sunday. So hopefully there is a Game 7 on Sunday. That would be awesome. But I really do believe the Mavs force a Game 7. I think the Mavs, this was a big game. Credit to the Suns for getting it. There was a lot of things that transpired also at the end. I think just the Mavs can carry over and just getting. I think they know, especially sitting. They sat the last. They sat in the rotations. They sat the last like 4 minutes of the game. And I think that's a good thing for them, the starters to see, and just the players actually play, like to sit on the bench and have to sit there and watch like 4 minutes of basketball. That means fucking nothing because the game's already over, and I think that should be used as fuel. And on top of that, with the whole Marquise Chris thing with Biyombo, I loved it, to be honest. I love that Chris did all that. I hope all the Mavs fans out there are behind Chris on that because he didn't back down. Biyombo was trying to get a fucking late ass basket when the game's over and he's trying to get a fucking dunk, and Chris fucking blocks that shit. They call it foul, but he don't give a fuck. He's just gonna stop that shit because that was a bullshit ass play for them to try and score even though the game's already fucking over. And Biyombo's a main player. It wasn't like there was some scrub for them coming off the bench trying to get buckets in his first some playoff minutes. No, it's fucking Biyombo trying to fucking dunk on Chris. So yeah, I'm glad he stepped up, talked his shit, made Biyombo like, what? And he's like, yeah, what you gonna do? Chris like, all right, I'll meet you back there. And Chris went down the fucking home team's locker room to chase him down, to fight his ass, and I fucking loved it. I mean, I don't know if he really would have fought, but just to see him do that and meet him all the way there, like, he has that I don't give a fuck attitude, and that's the shit I like to see. I don't, Biyombo looks like a big dude, but I don't know if he wants that smoke with Chris. Chris wasn't having that bullshit, so that's awesome to see. I like that fire, and I hope the Mavs use that fire because they were literally trying to shit on us right at the end, even when the game's over. So I hope all this is fuel, and that's why I just feel the Mavs are going to come out. They're going to come out like they did in game 3 and 4, where they just fucking attack mode and physical the whole game, and I can't wait. And also, on a side note, Jay Crowder got an injury there at the end too when they left the starters. We had already, I don't remember if our starters were out yet, but I know there was a point where our starters were out and they didn't take their starters out yet. And I think that was when they still had their starters in. And Jay Crowder ends up getting hurt it was Josh, because it was Josh Green was in. So our starters were out, or whoever else was playing at the end. They emptied the bench and Josh Green was in and ran into Jay Crowder's arm. And it looked like he could have separated his shoulder or something. Hopefully there's no injury again. I don't want to see any injury. I hope good on him whenever I seen him tweak his ankle. I want us to beat a team. I don't want us to have like that Suns thing like they had, honestly, like the Suns have last year, where it's like, yeah, y'all went to the finals, but y'all didn't have to play such and such, all that type of stuff. I don't want that. I want us to be like, no, yeah, we played you, we beat you, just like the 2011 run for the Mavs, where we played the teams in front of us. They didn't have any key injuries. Honestly, we had like the biggest key injury with Caron Butler, and we beat like a fully healthy, Thunder and Heat and Lakers, all that stuff. That's the type of stuff I love to see, and I want to see as a Mavs fan, because I don't want us to go up and get those cheap wins or bubble rings or any things like that. But yeah, man, that's just I want this team to come out. I could just see them getting fired up and coming out ready for this game. As I said, you gotta be physical. And just oh man, defensive. It's so crazy the on and seeing them at home, versus away. But I think that the coaching staff will get this team together, and I think they will fix these adjustments, because it's obviously the same adjustments we've had in games 3 and 4. 3 and 4. They're not doing anything different. They just switched the center. DeAndre Ayton got a little bit of foul trouble. They switched, McGee wasn't really doing shit, so they went to Biyombo. Biyombo's, still legit, and, they have good, 3, lucky for them, have 3, legit centers. And so they go to the third one, and he does good, who was actually doing well during the season, too, when Ayton was out, and they were having all those injury problems. They had to be Biyombo, and he did well. And he did well early in the series, and then he did well tonight for them. And they were just finding he's a good roller, screen roller, just solid big man. on both ends. And, they were able to find him, get him looks in there, even though I don't think he finished with a lot. He had 7 points, but just they were finding guys that it was lack of focus by the Mavs. That's put it that way. It was lack of focus by the Mavs, and again, along with the physical and aggressiveness, the mental wasn't there either. And man, I just feel like I'm lagging on this game, man. Here, it's just a bummer for the Mavs. We shot only made 8 we only shot 33, so that should show you we were not aggressive. We didn't even get up at least 40 attempts, so that's not good. Only 8 threes. Shitty from three, from the field, bad. Look at the team stats. Points in the paint, they killed us. Rebounds, they killed us. Assists, they killed us because we couldn't make a shot. They basically just dominated the game. There's no looking through this, there's nothing there. And then again with the second half stats, this just show you. I ended on this. Actually, I end on the silver lining, which I kind of already went. But real quick, in the second half, Luka Doncic and Jalen Brunson. These are second half. In the second half, Luka had 10 points in the whole second half. Jalen Brunson, 12 points the whole second half. The next up most is 3 points. Nobody else had more than 3 after that. So, yeah, killer for the Mavs. Everybody's got to join the party, like Jay Kids said. So hopefully everybody's is able to see this. Let it sink in, let it sit, let it simmer, and come out ready to play game 6, because it's basically do or die, win or go home type shit for us right here. It's not win in advance, but if we don't win, we go home. So I feel like this Mavs team is gonna come out with all that fight in the world. So I hope y'all ready, man. And I hope the Suns are ready, man, because the Mavs ain't going to fucking back down, man. And I think the Mavs come and take business, because I think just the lack of what we got from everybody, it was just so bad. Like, I don't think we can have this such bad of a game. Like, it wasn't anything the Suns were really doing. It was just sloppy play by us. Like, just sloppy, lazy passes. Just not being aggressive and physical with guys on the inside, or guarding them, not being like the aggressors guarding someone, being kind of like the timid one on defense, and kind of letting other guys kind of just do whatever they want. Like, it's just I don't think they're gonna do that. I don't think Reggie Bullock comes out with an 0 for. I don't think he goes 0 for 5 next game either. And Dodo, he had 2 threes in this game, but I think he scores more too. Dwight Powell getting less and less minutes. But JB did good. I mean, solid. And of course, Luka, 28, 11 rebounds, only 2 assists, because nobody can get anything going. I did have 3 steals and only 4 turnovers. And Brunson only had 4. Well, they both combined. They got to lower those. But I mean, with everything going on, oh man, they were big on those third quarter turnovers. I'm putting out there too. Just looking at these stats real quick. Nobody in the bench bad. Bertans 10, Kleber only 4. We weren't getting anything from the bench. Starters weren't giving us nothing. Bench wasn't giving us nothing. Dinwiddie only 2. Yeah, so I just don't think this is why game 6. I think this stat line is not going to happen again, especially 2 games in a row. I don't see this type of stat line happening again. I think the Mavs pull it off, and I think it'll be a close one. So if the Suns would win the next game, it would just be because it was a close game and they were able to come away in the clutch, make better plays than us down the road. I don't think they'll just whoop our ass again for next game. But even if they do, hey man, I will still give give the Mavs a standing ovation, because they've had a great season. But hey man, we're not thinking that way here, especially on this fucking pod, man. We're all ahead. We still think we could beat the Suns at 7 on this pod, man. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's end it on a good note like that. So wash away this game, Mavs fans. It's all right. We play again in literally 2 days. So hopefully, just got to deal 1 day without basketball, and we're back at it. Game 6. Make this 7-game series. Make the Suns piss their pants and trying to advance past us. So. Let's do it again. Thursday is the next game at 8:30 on ESPN. The Mavs Rundown is free on YouTube along with the Spotify and Anchor app. If you want to follow on Twitter, it's at Mavs_rundown. I'm AG. Thanks for listening, everyone. And remember, cool heads prevail. And I'll see y'all next time on the Mavs Rundown.